Good morning. Today we're going to be comparing the NexTool Mini Sailor S11 Pro against the NexTool Mini Flagship F12. So these are really good keychain multi-tools from NexTool, and I've been very impressed with the NexTool S11 Pro here. But NexTool more recently came out with the F12, and I'm also quite impressed. So today we're going to be comparing them against each other, and since they're both coming from NexTool, this is definitely one sibling rivalry that you don't want to miss. So let's start off with S11 Pro, which came out earlier. So it comes with these nice dark blue scales. It's anodized aluminum. And then the finish is black oxide. And then we have the NexTool Mini Flagship F12. So it comes in this matte finish, and the tools are highly polished. So first, let's take a look at the knife, which I think is the most important tool to have in an emergency or survival situation. And the S11 Pro has an HCR14 MOV knife. Which is also the same with the F12. So these are both HCR14 MOV. They have the same ship's foot blade. And the only difference is the F12 has a one-hand opening thumb hole, but it's really hard to open it. So you would just normally just use your fingernail to open it. The advantage that the F12 has over the S11 Pro is that the knife is locking. So that's definitely a point for the F12. Next, let's look at the pliers. So it's got this black oxide finish. Very nice tip, long nose, bolt gripper, and wire cutter. The same on the F12. You have a highly polished plier head. The tip is not as precise, maybe because of this being a prototype. But then you have also the long nose, the bolt gripper, and the wire cutter. So they're practically the same heads. So what we'll do is we'll see how they perform, but I think for all intents and purposes, this is the same head. So we'll start with copper core wire here. This shouldn't be a problem. And it isn't. And then we'll have annealed wire here. It shouldn't also be a problem. So no problem at all. But definitely I wouldn't be using this on hard wires. So we'll do the same with the F12. No problem either. And then with the wire, no problem also. So for the pliers, we can say that this is basically a tie. So next we look at the scissors. So the S11 Pro scissors are rather small. So definitely there's a huge difference here. And I'm sure this will come out in the performance. So let's give it a try. So I have this webbing here. It cuts fine. And then I have this packaging strap. It's definitely having a problem. tough. Let's try that again. It cuts, but it's a little bit more difficult. Let's do that with the F12. I don't think this is going to be a contest. So with the packaging strap, yes, no contest whatsoever. So the definite winner here is the F12. So now let's look at the other tools available. So we have a Phillips head screwdriver. And we also have one on the F12. And already you can see which one's better here. So they both have 2.5D tips, but the length of the F12 Pro is definitely an advantage. And then of course, it has a depth gauge on the other side. And then we have a flathead with a bottle opener. We also have that on the F12, but again, the F12 wins because of the length of the tool. And then we have the file. So this one is a crosscut file with a diamond coated side. And there's a pry bar here, or a larger flathead. So we have exactly the same on the F12. So they both have crosscut files. But on the other side, we have the diamond coated on the S11 Pro and a single cut on the F12. So the tips are a little bit different. So we have here a wider one, and this one's a little bit narrower, but they're both bigger flatheads and maybe can also be used as mini pries. The advantage of the F12 is that, again, just like the knife blade, it is a locking tool. So that's a point for the F12. For the S11 Pro, there is this diamond coated file which I really like. The S11 Pro also has this bonus tool, which is the SIM ejection tool. You don't have that on the F12. Instead, what you have is this nice pocket clip and a keyring attachment, which you do also have on the S11 Pro. So it's hidden here. You push it out and you have a keyring attachment. So both of them have keyring attachments. After all, these are keychain multi-tools primarily, but of course you can also put them in your pocket. Let's look at the weight. So the S11 Pro is 82.3 grams or 2.9 ounces. The F12 is 79.5 grams or 2.8 ounces. So the NexTool S11 Pro is 2 3/4 inches long, 1 inch wide at the top, and just a bit over an inch wide at the bottom. Thickness is just over half an inch. The F12 is around 2.5 inches long. It's a little bit asymmetric, so it's kind of hard to measure exactly, but it's around 2.5 inches long. And then the width is a bit over an inch. And the thickness is just a bit over half an inch. It's a little bit wider because of the clip here, but it's just a little bit over half an inch. But from a visual perspective, The F12 Pro seems to be smaller, so it's definitely shorter. It looks narrower except for the clip. And it's just a little bit wider than the S11 Pro. So on the hand, the F12 Pro actually feels a little bit smaller. And that's it for my quick comparison between the NexTool S11 Pro and the NexTool Mini Flagship F12. So they're actually both good keychain multi-tools. Personally, I prefer the F12 because of the bigger scissors. But the S11 Pro actually has its own good points. So it really boils down to what particular tool you need and what particular tool you prefer. And of course, the form factor. So what about you? Which tool do you prefer? Which one are you going to put in your keychain? Please comment down below, and thank you for watching.